Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Monday night episode here on the network, of course. I'm Roger, he's Michael, and we have a wonderful guest joining us. We're going to be able to talk about quite a bit of stuff this evening, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know in the chat room who you are and where you hail from. Trekking Across the Universe is live today on March 13th, 2013. Michael.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're all here, and as Roger said, if you're in the chat room, let us know where you are, and if you got any questions for Saul, throw them out there. And our guest tonight is Saul Rubinek. We're very happy to have him. We tried a few times, and he got busy, and so hey, that's great. But we're glad we have him here tonight, and we'll just get right started.
Good.
As you can see, I'm hanging out in Warehouse 13 right now.
You are.
Yeah.
It looks great. How did you do that? I'd love to do that. You'll have to teach me how to do that.
I'll teach you how to do that.
I'd love to have that background.
Yeah, actually it works. Well, first of all, I do want to apologize to Saul because within a day or so of being contacted, he committed to being on our program, and then I was the one that was unable to, and that's really why.
Damn you! Damn you!
It is yes. I'm the one responsible for everything, but absolutely awesome, Saul. Thank you. I've had the privilege of seeing a lot of your work throughout the years, and I do remember you from Wall Street. You have a significant role in Family Man. It was fun seeing the two different characters you played. Of course, you were in Unforgiven. I had forgotten about that one. And I do remember you in Unforgiven. As a matter of fact, you were in Lost, Leverage,
True
Warehouse
Romance.
13. I'm sorry?
True Romance, man. You can't leave out True Romance.
Oh,
one of the most
that's
iconic
right.
movies of all time.
Yes, I do apologize. Yes, True
Yes,
Romance.
what the hell's the matter with you?
It's Monday afternoon and it's tax season, sir.
You're going to have a lot of True Romance fans going, he's left out True Romance? That's all I've ever seen that guy in.
Yep. So definitely that's good. We're only 2 minutes in. I already got my first.
A movie, by the way, True Romance, that opened and closed the first weekend it was out, because it was before Reservoir Dogs and it was before Tarantino. Anybody knew who the hell Tarantino was. It was directed by the great late Tony Scott, and it was sold kind of as a Christian Slater date movie. And people came on their dates and they watched this violent, anarchistic, crazy movie combining violence and comedy, which was the Tarantino script, and it died. It was 1993, probably probably the spring of 93, right before Reservoir Dogs came out, and then it became a cult movie, within about 5 years. And you probably could open this in a theater now and it would sell out. Tarantino has a theater here, Beverly, which only shows things on film. He owns this theater in central LA, and he programs it. And whenever they program True Romance, it's sold out, completely sold out. It's a great movie. I was really proud to be in it. Although when I first read it, I was a little uncertain whether I was doing a violent porn movie, but still, there's a very famous scene in it where Roseanne Arquette, who's very young at the time, because it's a long time ago. It's 30 years ago, and she was playing the love interest of Christian Slater. And there's this one scene where somebody comes to kill her, and it's one horrifically violent scene where she has the shit kicked out of her, and eventually she kills her attacker, spoiler alert. And no actor really wanted to play it because, first of all, it was an unknown writer, and it was played by a fairly unknown actor by the name of James Gandolfini, who went on to do The Sopranos, of course. It's a really, really cool film. But the film that that's most recent, or one of the three most recent films that I did a movie. I was born in a refugee camp, Roger. I was born in 1948. My parents are Holocaust survivors. And I was born in this refugee camp in Germany in the American zone on Tennessee Avenue, believe it or not. And most European Jews who were caught in the Russian zone after the war, Europe was divided, between Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt, and the Jews who survived wanted to get the hell away from the Russians and the communist rule, so they ran towards Munich, which was the center of where the Americans were. And there were two very large refugee camps set up there, displaced persons camps, they were called, where my father immediately started a theater because he was doing Yiddish theater in Poland before Hitler stopped all that. And I was born there, and within 9 months, we ended up in Canada. And my first languages were not English, they were Yiddish and kind of a Montreal street French. Well, I didn't really speak English till I was about 6 or so, 7. We moved to the capital of the country, to Ottawa, and I had to learn English, or I'd be beat up every day.
Right.
And I never got to perform in Yiddish until 6 months before the Russians invaded Ukraine. A wonderful first-time director, was a documentary filmmaker, actually, quite accomplished, and a friend of mine, a Jewish French producer who had been making movies in Ukraine with wonderful crews in Kiev, asked me to play a role in this movie called Shtetl, which is the Yiddish word for village. And before the Second World War, there were thousands, many hundreds of probably thousands of small villages that were shtetls since the 17th century. Not only Yiddish ones, the Yiddish language ones, the Jewish ones were called shtetls. There were also, of course, Ukrainian, Polish, Romanian, Lithuanian little villages. They lived side by side in relative harmony. Occasional bursts of violence at Easter, but still. And this movie was made for not a lot of money, but it was all in Yiddish and made as a single shot film. Like Birdman was made as a single shot, like 1917, yes. Sam Mendes movie was made, which means yes. When you do a single shot movie today, it's basically a series of master shots without, cutting away to close-ups. It's just a single shot on the move, sometimes static. And then they digitally stitch together these masters. So it looks like one continuous shot, which is quite effective.
Yes.
So we did this movie all in Yiddish, about 30 miles north of Kiev, 6 months before the invasion. And it was the first time I'd performed in Yiddish. And, I look like this in the movie.
Yes, that's clear.
Like an old-time rabbi. And from 1941, it takes place in 1941. You can show a clip of it. It's a wonderful clip. What? Just before you do that, before you start,
yes.
Just let me let your audience know you can't see the movie unless you're going to be at a Jewish film festival, because it hasn't been released generally. I'll give you the dates, or some of the dates generally, but you can Google it. SHTTL. I'll explain why the letter E is left out in a minute. But why don't you show this wonderful trailer?
Excellent. We're ready to go.
Behalten tief im Herz von Wald is a Dorfweg, das führt als bis Jerusalem. Sie fahren an alte Maße wegen einem Mensch, was so gelebt hier. Es fliegt gehen sie an Ort in Wald. Und da tun sie eine Feier. Also ich tina pur Werte. Und also ich kann treten zu Gott.
Зайдемо в село, за дороги не буде.
Я маю їх побачити. Поговорити з ним. Останнє.
Mendele! Mendele!
Bis gekommen von was?
Gaan we niet te weg in de jongen? Ze had gassen in 40 hebben. Het is te spät voor die, Mendele.
Khadiraros Waffen von dannen mit
Eben eine Hand auf einen Inserik noch der Zick.
und der Mamser und der Apikores und der Sowjet.
Tata?
hast סוף כל סוף beschlossen, heimzukommen.
أنا فيلم رجس.
Mendele, bist dich a Kuchen und a Pikeje. Da wo sie halt zurück in ein Blatt gemore.
Will sich nur nicht übergeben in ganzen 10 Maße. Will erzählen verschiedene Maße. Brabei.
Verstehen kann ich. Aber unnehmen kann ich nicht, dass er glatt.
In der Regel gehen Menschen weg in der Armee, die zerklopfen in Kiew. Allemal.
Die moderne Welt, der Kino, Gedenken der Mama. Sie wollte es gewollt.
Mendele, ich soll nicht sein, will ich ewig sein mit dir. Sollst du's gedenken auf ewig.
Die Menschen durchschlagen sich immer mit Zurissen in die Kischkes. Menschen in anderen Städten werden verschwinden. Man sagt, dass die heute haben sind. Es ist ruhig. Wann wird Kimmel gespielt?
Und der Mine, wie wird man kämpfen gegen die Keuches? Mit Kino? Mit Bubbenmeisters?
Wie wird sich jetzt werden?
Prächtig. Grandios. Was ist da?
Where are you?
Right here.
All right.
I'm sorry about that at the very end.
Yes.
Wow.
There was a French novel a number of years ago, and the letter E was removed. The novelist's mother or relative was killed at Auschwitz and murdered at Auschwitz, and in commemoration of those that are lost, he left the letter E out of the entire novel. And to pay homage to that symbol, the filmmaker Adi Walter took out the letter E out of the name Shtetl, which is why it's SHTTL instead of SHTETL. The film is in different festivals. It'll be Cleveland International Film Festival, Boca Raton Jewish Film Festival, New Jersey, the Quad Cities, Vancouver, Hartford, Detroit, Cornell, Philadelphia, DC in May, Toronto in June, Winnipeg, the Berkshire Jewish Film Festival. And if you Google Jewish Film Festival Shtetl, you'll find it. And I encourage you to see it with an audience before it ends up on a streamer. It's a film that makes a big difference when you see it with a group of people, as most films do, this one especially. Thank you for showing that. Very proud of the film. And I did have the opportunity to speak in my first language for the first time, kind of in honor of my own dad, who started in Yiddish theater.
Thank you. That is a wonderful view into this movie. Now, you were filming this, you mentioned in Ukraine, north of Kiev, which is now, I guess, I think you mentioned when we were not on air that it's a no-go zone now, or...
Well, no, it's just that it's mined. The Russians, on retreating, indiscriminately mined the area unconscionably, and we were concerned that they may have destroyed this. We built the Shtetl. We built a number of buildings, and we only found out a couple of months ago with a drone, because of the area's mined, you can't go up there without danger, that's actually intact, what we built. And I suspect that will be made into some kind of museum, and it's an important site. We also built a beautiful hand-painted synagogue, that was typical of the 19th and 18th centuries, that there may be one left in all of Eastern Europe, and ours was consecrated by a Ukrainian rabbi. So it's a big deal. It's an important film, and people will get a view of the way of life of what that Shtetl was like in a way that they may never have understood before.
Saul, speaking as an American who has studied history and who knows just a little bit of history, when you're in Europe, is the whole thing of the Holocaust, like, is it acknowledged? Do they know it happened? Because, as you know, 1/3 of the American public believes it didn't take place. Is that the same view that is in Europe?
I don't know if it's 1/3 of the American public. If that's true, that's horrifying. I would say I have no figures about this. I know that in Hungary and in Poland, there are various forms of authoritarian governments that have a revisionist history in terms of their own collaboration, getting rid of the Jews, their collaboration with the Nazis. It's even against the law in Poland to talk about that publicly, which is insane. The revisionist history is like, oh, the Nazis were horrible. They came and they did all this and we had nothing to do with it. Of course, many of the Eastern European societies collaborated. A few people in each of these countries also were heroic and helped save lives. And this is the kind of thing, of course, that is not just, about Jewish people and that particular Holocaust or that particular kind of genocide. Every genocide is unique in its own way, whether we're talking about the genocide that exists, that were perpetrated by white Americans on Native American indigenous people for 100 years or 200 years, or whether we're talking about Armenians or massacred by the Turks, or whether we're talking about what's going on in China. There's not a day without this horrific genocide. It goes on everywhere. And wherever it exists, within a few years, there is a denial that it happened. There are people for whom it is not, it's very important for them to believe conspiracy theories about how this is a fraud perpetrated on the public for whatever reason. For the most part, certainly Western Europe education that has to do with the Holocaust is better. And up until very recently, our American history has taught about slavery and about the massacre and systematic dismemberment of indigenous societies. Until now, schools are banning that kind of education. So we're in an age worldwide where right-wing governments where revisionist history is, or people are proud to bring out their own form of hatred, aren't they? So that's a fascinating thing. And one of the things I'm doing is to talk about that. In 1986, together with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, with a very small crew, I went back to Poland with my mother and father after an absence of 40 years to have a reunion with my parents and the Polish farmers that had hidden them for 2.5 years, whom they had been supporting for over 38 years. My parents were never wealthy. They were lower middle class income, but they always supported them. And that movie, which is called So Many Miracles, which you can Google and find, it's under an hour long, affected 3 generations of my family. It was completed before I got married and before I had children. My children are 31 and 27, but that was done before I knew I was going to have children, which really now, after about 5 years ago, I realized that the making of that documentary and a book that I wrote, which was a result of 10 years of interviews with my parents about their lives before, during, and after the war, affected 3 generations of my family, my parents' generation, my generation, and my children. And so I wrote a play without changing any names, which is, I guess, not done, but I did it. I only recently completed it. It's called All in the Telling. And it is a play about my family and about the making of that documentary and the writing of the book. Much of it is very funny because it's about family dynamics and lives and all the horrible shit that happens in families. So that's funny in retrospect. But some of it's really poignant. And so that's an important project that I'm now trying to get a production on either in North America or in Europe, and I'm actively involved in that endeavor.
Good to
Which
know,
brings
and I
me
think
full
you've shared.
circle around to my life as a son of a survivor.
It's important to share, and Saul, I thank you for sharing that with us even now in this short time that we've been able to have this conversation. I'm a student of history, Saul, and I've read a great deal, and I know that if this is the day before the Nazi invasion, that must have been July 21st, 1941.
June, I think. June 21st.
Fair enough. Yes.
And,
okay. Operation Barbarossa.
It was called Operation Barbarossa. Hitler made a pact, a non-aggression treaty with Russia, and he broke it, always intending to break it, on June 21st. One of the first places he went was Ukraine.
Yeah. It was, it's sad that, World War II took so many lives, and now we're doing it again in that conflict in Ukraine, which is so sad. But the very flower of youth out there, just we're losing them. Why? Minerals, whatever, power. It's really sad. But I thank you for that, Saul. It's very powerful, and I'm glad that our audience is able to hear that.
Yeah,
and to get your point of view, and they need to know. It's important. I am big on that, and I thank you. So you have other items that are in the works. I believe you have some other films. Another one that's going.
There are two other films that have not been released this year. One is a movie called Blackberry, which is I guess a lot of people don't know, was invented and originally was come up with a couple of Canadians in Ontario, and it's this movie Blackberry, which premiered at the Berlin Film Festival a couple of weeks ago, and I think is at South by Southwest this coming week. A terrific movie, very funny, and I play a supporting role in that movie. It's been sold, I think, to one of the streamers. I think Paramount may have bought it worldwide.
Oh, wow.
But if you Google Blackberry movie, you'll find it. Or you won't find the movie, but you'll find out when it's going to be or where it's going to be. And the other movie I did was an indie horror movie that I shot in Austin, in Texas, called Clock, which is a very interesting film about a woman who doesn't want to have children and the pressure from everybody in the whole society for her to have children. And it's a really interesting take on that subject as a horror movie. I think it's premiering in New Orleans, seems to have a horror film festival. So I think it's very soon premiering there.
Excellent. As a matter of fact, if I may, it looks like I do have a note that the Blackberry movie is going to be released on April 28th, 2023.
Where?
And it
on Paramount?
I don't have that. It's just movie news. But it looks like I do have a teaser.
Great. I don't even know if I'm in the teaser. I doubt it. So why don't you save that teaser and play one?
I will.
Play. Did you find you have a Jerry and Tom teaser?
I did find it.
Wow, you did. So this is the first movie I directed. It's based on a one-act. It's an interesting story. I directed a one-act play in 1994, and it was a playwright named Rick Cleveland, who was quite a wonderful playwright, and he had written this one-act play. That's where I met him. He's still a friend of mine, and after the play was very successful. It was part of a one-act play festival here in Los Angeles, and we spent about a year. Eleanor Reed, my wife, is a producer, and together with Rick, with me and Eleanor, we got Rick to adapt it as a feature film. And we managed to do it with Joe Mantegna and a very young actor nobody'd heard of called Sam Rockwell, and Charlie Durning and Ted Danson and a number of wonderful actors. And it played in Sundance. It was bought by Miramax. And I'm very proud of it. But what happened to Rick Cleveland was right after that, he started writing for television, and he won an Emmy first year of West Wing. He shared an Emmy with Aaron Sorkin for that first season for one of the episodes, a Christmas episode. He went on to write for 6 Feet Under, for Nurse Jackie, number of great series. And he's the one who encouraged me to write a play to write this new play about my parents and me and my family. Anyway, you can show the teaser for Jerry and Tom with an extraordinary cast. I haven't seen this teaser in years. I'm dying to see it.
Excellent. Runs about 149.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
I'd have to say two things. One, Sandra has absolutely lovely hands. And two, that is one clean engine block. And I think you'd have to agree with me on both counts.
There's that little switchy. Oh, well, you know your cars.
He's a fucking idiot.
Two little words. Two huge little words. Grassy knoll.
Shut up and do it.
Finding a gun in my son's locker is very disturbing, I agree. Could be worse, but
Should have gone with the Black & Decker. Black & Decker can both come down here and suck my dick.
Because we love foreign cars.
You see that woman up there? See the way she's selling those punches? Now that's acting.
They just found the Hinckley guy not guilty by reason of insanity.
Fuck that. You'd have to be insane not to shoot Rick.
Gonna go through life with a couple of holes in his face instead of a nose?
They're gonna make him a new one.
Out of what? Plastic?
Out of a piece of his ass.
Great.
you know any good jokes?
Not at the moment. No. I got one. This penguin walks into a bar.
Two huge little words.
That's good stuff.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that trailer.
That is cool. That is funny too. There's a lot of humor in that teaser.
It's a very funny movie and really well written with a great cast. I don't know where you can stream it, but you guys can Google it. Your audience can Google it and find it.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna look that one up myself. I want to see it. Very young Sam Rockwell indeed.
19 shot in 1997. So
Wow,
yeah, he was 28, I think. 27.
that is cool. That's good. What is your role in that movie?
I directed it.
Yes. I only asked you about that earlier. You directed it. That's right. Fair enough. It looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie.
Oh, it's terrific.
Myself. Hell yeah.
I'm very happy about that
That's
movie.
cool.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have any questions? Jump on in.
And I'll jump in. I'm trying to think. The one thing I'm really familiar with was Warehouse 13, and I'm sure some of our audience, probably that's what they remember you in. I would say the most, maybe. That went on for
5 years.
5 years.
Yesterday, my wife and I had brunch with our wonderful showrunner and head writer, Jack Kenny, who turned 65. A brilliant man. He's still my friend. We started that series 14 years ago, almost 14 and a half years ago, and started shooting it in Toronto. And it was really, I'm very proud of that series because it deals, it's not a space supernatural kind of thing, no aliens, and every object in it that we use was historically accurate. So the basic premise of that series is that there are objects out there like a piece of the Titanic or Hitler's microphone or that actually can cause huge damage. They've been imbued with, and at the warehouse, which has been in existence since the Library of Alexandria, and every major country that has had power, 13 different generations, gets this warehouse and everything in it. Warehouse 12 was Victorian England, and Warehouse 13 is United States. And I kind of am the guy running the place along with the American government. And it looks like that kind of warehouse that it's the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they take the Ark and it's in a wooden box and you would never know it's there. It's kind of like that. So then it's built into the side of a mountain in South Dakota. And all the objects that our agents go after to snag, bag, and tag, and then put in the warehouse are all based on real historical things. So it was educational. And it was also the kind of series that a family could watch together because it was funny, not slapstick funny, but humorous and ironic, not violent. certainly not, the violence was kept off screen, I would say 90% of the time. So
Mhm.
families could watch it from the age of 10 to 90, and everybody would get something out of it at a different level. It was very successful for 5 years.
Yeah, that was, yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed it. I was hoping it would last longer, but
So did we.
any chance of a revival or no?
Well, let's hope. Everybody has to write in, and it's very popular. You can see it on the Peacock app.
Yeah, I noticed it was on Peacock,
and there it is, right behind you. There's Warehouse.
And that's Warehouse 13 behind me. Yeah, right there.
As a matter of fact, Dean Devlin was involved in that one as well, right?
No, Dean Devlin did a series called The Librarian.
You're right. Yes, I'm
which
sorry.
had some similarity to it, but it's not this.
Not the same thing.
Wrong twice in a row there, Roger.
Twice. I think it's three.
three, and then
there was one that I didn't even ask about, so I'm already counting that one. So no, that's cool.
I unfortunately have spent a half an hour with you guys. I really enjoyed this. Maybe we can do it again sometime. Talk about Unforgiven or True Romance or Family Man or the early part of my career. And I'd be happy to do this again, but I'd rather leave your audience wanting more than having too much of me.
Fine.
So let me say sayonara until the next time. Okay.
So, very kind of you. Thank you. We know you have a commitment. Thank you for spending it with us and sharing everything that you did.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. We'll speak again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. We'll see you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Saul Rubinek. Quite a bit to talk about. He's got his 3 major items right now as Shtetl, Blackberry, and Clock. It's right there for you. You can check it out. We found 2 of the previews. I don't know if I was able to find the Clock one. I was just having trouble finding some of them, but it's really good stuff. So
yeah.
I'm glad we didn't ask the proverbial Star Trek questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That could be next time.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize if there were some technical difficulties, because for some reason it looks like we're only live on our YouTube channel.
I noticed.
And Twitch TV. So,
and that's it. No Facebook. I noticed that myself.
Yeah. I'm going to have to see what the deal is. Apparently we received some report that it was deleted on the page. So I don't know what that means, but it's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to take this time, as always. We have been very busy here on the network, and I have to give not only thanks to Saul for joining us, and I think that strikeout was when I mentioned Dean. I was like, damn, I couldn't even get my stories straight. I was so excited. I'm like, hey, didn't he do Warehouse?
No,
it was Leverage. Leverage, damn it.
Leverage, yeah.
And
Leverage and Librarians.
I was going to make that connection, but I blew it, and I'm glad he pointed it out. That's why. And there was another one in there which didn't even have. Well, it was on the video that I blew. So no, hey, it's all good. I never thought I'd have a chance to have a conversation with Saul. It's I've seen him on television and in the movies for so long, and I appreciate getting an insight that he gave us at the very beginning. It's really good stuff, and we got a fuzzy and warm commitment to talk about other items.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious he was rushed. He had another commitment. He still made time for us. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Yes.
Yeah, and we were totally grateful for that. So we'll see. Again, a shout out to Michael Day. That's what I was alluding to. If there's anyone getting guests, it's Michael, and he has been doing it for some time now. I'm eternally grateful, and it's just a lot of fun. And folks, I need everyone in the chat room to remind me when I'm monopolizing, because it's not fair. It is absolutely not fair, and it's not even a joke anymore. It's just I do too much of it, and we've got to bring Michael in on it as well. It's just I'm so frightened of dead air, and I'm not saying that Michael is dead. It's just I try to keep the conversation going. So it's something that I just try to do, and it's a lesson I learned early on, and I just try to keep on it. But I know that we have some other guests in the offing. They are committed, but we don't have dates just yet. And I'm looking forward to seeing them. We're probably going to pick up sometime in the middle of May, unless we do get some special guests like we did Saul. And actually, the third mess up was when I said Raul. I was like, Saul, for my cousin Raul. They're like, oh my God, I blew that one. So that was the Latin guy in me blowing that one. So, but again, my thank you to our guest as well as to Michael.
Yeah, I think there was something wrong with Facebook because the shows are still there, but they just didn't activate when we went live. So,
and I tried to activate them.
Yeah, but they didn't act. None of them did. None of the Facebook ones did at all. That is wild. There must have been a technical glitch somewhere. So
yeah, because it's only Facebook.
Yeah, it's only Facebook. So, but anyway,
we will be able to upload that episode shortly thereafter on those pages.
Yes,
but we'll be doing that later. So, just very quick on calendar. Today is Monday, of course. On Tuesday night on blogtalkradio.com/NDB Media. Let me see if I can create that link right now, a banner, to remind everyone that we still have our radio side of the network, NDB Media. And I need to put that one there. There it is. You can always check out stuff that we have going on there on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, Fandom Access. On Thursday night, Travel Age Radio. I just subbed this past Thursday for Dan Schlossberg. You guys know who he is. Man, is he a writing machine or what? He does Travel Itch Radio on the network. And so he's also quite a big in baseball. And I believe the newest version of the new baseball Bible will be out later this year. And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to Dan about that. And then on the rest of the network, which you can find all of this at ndbmedia.net. Of course, you have sometimes Monday Night America, which is basically what this is. On Saturday, you have Sports Talk with the Guys, which is at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And then you have two other programs. They're genre specific. It looks like it's the Weekly Review. That might be the name for it. The Weekly Review on Sunday night, where we're going to be discussing some major entertainment news stuff that happens throughout the week, but basically the programs that we're reviewing. So, we'll see. That's on Sunday night. It depends. It may be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It may be at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, depending on whether there's anything that is on in the evening. Because we found out, we went live on the season finale of a major program. That was very bad timing on my part. Very bad. But anyway, so I believe that's what the calendar looks like right now. The professionals will be on from time to time on Monday nights, but they can be on at any time if there's major news. And, of course, Jedi Tax Online, JTO, is on usually on the first Sunday of the month. So unless there's a conflict and we have some big program on Sunday night. So that's pretty much it. Michael, anything else?
No, that's about it. That's about it. I just wish I knew what happened with Facebook tonight. But
well, we're going to be able to upload the episodes in a bit. Now, I don't know if this would be a favor to Mr. Rubinek as well, but I do want to play that video. This one is Blackberry Movie, release date April 28th. Let's do this one, folks.
Even though a trailer still has not been released for the April 28th release of Blackberry, it has received rave reviews at the Berlin Film Festival. Centering on nerdy and inventive Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie, Johnson's film starts in 1996 with the emergence of this unheard of idea of a phone that can also send and receive emails with its keyboard built into a magical device no one in the tech world had achieved before these Canadian dreamers actually found a way to make it work. On its way to market, the BlackBerry must overcome all sorts of obstacles and impossible business deals, but by the early aughts it is a superstar, beloved by everyone from US presidents to celebrities to average Joes, a life-changing communication device. It is a dream come true until shady business deals, infighting, and most damaging Steve Jobs and the iPhone combined to bring it crashing down.
And there it is. It's very short. So it really wasn't even then a trailer.
No.
Now they're just talking about he knew. He knew there was no trailer yet. So, yeah. All right. Well, fair enough. It's still a look, and you can hear the dogs that are barking right over here, just on the other side of the alley. And it's like a little shih tzu that could be in the warehouse. But the dog that's making all that noise, it's a shih tzu. I'm sorry. I think it's pronounced shih tzu.
Or Achu.
I'm sorry.
Achu, yes.
I don't like that dog. It's a little poodle. It's making that much noise. And then the Doberman, not the Doberman, but the German Shepherds down the street, you can hear them. But anyway, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And that's good. So we're good. We're done. And we're, 29 minutes ago, just after we began the program, 6.3 magnitude, 118 kilometers southeast of Madang, Papua New Guinea. So, wow. We'll see. Anything else, Michael?
Nope, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for visiting with us. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.